At sunrise, the crew heads into the North Atlantic in search of the lightning-fast giant mako shark.
Heavy mako gear is secured across the reinforced steel deck.
Titan strength reels are tuned for the explosive speed of a mako.
Fresh bluefish is cut to create a scent trail fast sharks can't ignore.
Temperature breaks reveal where a giant mako may ambush its prey.
The vessel plows through the hard Atlantic chop toward shark territory. Wire traces, capable of withstanding mako teeth, are locked into place. Sonar pulses catch something moving fast, something big. The first bait sinks from the industrial stern station into the blue.
The bait drifts silent and alone in the open Atlantic.
Every shark rod sits alive and ready across the wide steel rail. Nothing moves, but the North Atlantic never stays quiet for long.
Signs on the horizon reveal when giant mako sharks begin to rise.
A razor-sharp streak slices across the sonar. Mako speed.
Something fast is pushing water around the stern stations.
A long, torpedo-shaped shadow cuts slow arcs in the blue. A subtle vibration runs down the heavy shark rod.
The mako angles upward, twitching with nervous electricity.
The rod detonates downward as the giant mako hits with lightning force. The reel erupts as the mako blasts into a blistering run.
A heavy-duty shark rod smokes under the incredible acceleration of the mako. The angler locks into the steel-bolted harness for a brutal fight. The mako dives, beating its tail like a high-speed piston.
The crew rushes to clear the steel deck as the mako's explosive power erupts across the vessel. The rod groans as the mako drags it into a brutal arc.
Its metallic body rotates with surgical control, never losing speed. Boots dig into the steel deck as the angler absorbs the force.
The reel slams with violent vibration as the mako tears into another direction change.
The mako twists sharply in the open blue, revealing its long Atlantic frame.
The line slices across the steel rail as the crew scrambles to adjust positions. The crew guides the angler across the vast steel deck to maintain control.
The mako darts sideways with terrifying quickness.
Each pump of the rod gains precious inches of line.
Waves slam against the steel rail as the battle with the giant mako intensifies.
The mako's eye flickers with a mix of fury and precision. Every muscle in the angler's body strains under the shark's power. The shark begins its spiraling rise through the deep blue.
A dark streak sweeps beneath the stern. It's getting closer.
The mako's metallic back shimmers as it approaches the surface.
Reaching leader range signals the most dangerous stage of the battle. Gloved hands tighten around the heavy wire leader as the giant mako nears the rail. The shark tilts upward, its streamlined body slicing cleanly through the blue.
Control gaffs lock into place as the giant mako rises toward the rail.
The giant mako erupts at the surface beside the steel hull, unleashing furious power. The crew works fast to stabilize the thrashing predator. The giant mako's full streamlined frame gleams alongside the towering steel hull.
The hydraulic lift swings into place for a controlled hoist.
The mako rises from the water, twisting with raw muscle. The shark's massive length covers the wide steel deck.
Razor-edged teeth glisten with salt water.
The crew tags and documents the giant mako with strict precision and regulation.
The shark's length is confirmed, an extraordinary specimen.
Proper icing preserves the shark's prized meat quality. The crew resets the massive shark rods across the wide steel deck for the next encounter. Another streamlined predator emerges from the shadows. A second explosion of force slams the heavy rod downward with brutal power. The drag smokes violently as the giant mako unleashes another burst of speed.
The mako's speed turns the deep blue into a blur.
The angler braces hard as the reinforced steel rail groans under the mako's power.
The giant mako rises from the blue, its natural muscle and speed unmistakable in the shifting light.
Fresh arms take over as the fight enters its brutal middle stages.
The mako rockets downward, its streamlined body cutting a perfect line through the blue.
The rod convulses inside its steel lock station as the shark shifts direction. Boots grend across steel as the angler wrestles with the shark's raw power. The shark twists sideways in a flawless, razor-smooth pivot. The reel trembles violently as the giant mako unleashes another burst of speed. The crew scrambles across the vast steel deck, resetting every station for the next surge of power.
The giant mako circles with smooth, natural power, its cobalt back flashing in the filtered light.
Orders cut through the wind as the crew adjusts to the giant mako's shifting movements below.
The giant mako flashes past, its natural cobalt skin glinting in the filtered blue.
Leader gloves tighten as the crew braces for the giant mako's approach. The giant mako starts a sweeping climb from the deep blue below. The rod buries into a brutal arc as the giant mako attempts another high-speed breakout. A sharp pivot exposes the giant mako's full predatory form in the open blue. Gloved hands tighten over the steel rail as the giant mako rises toward the surface.
The shark's raw power surges through the leader as the crew braces on the steel rail. A razor dorsal fin cuts the surface as the mako explodes upward.
The shark rises in a smooth, powerful arc toward the surface.
Control gaffs line the steel rail as the giant mako nears the surface.
The mako bursts upward beside the steel hull, water exploding around it.
The crew fights to stabilize the thrashing shark across the steel deck.
The hydraulic lift swings into place as the shark rises alongside the vessel.
The giant mako is lifted slowly onto the industrial deck, water pouring from its massive body.
The mako's full length spans across the vessel's enormous steel deck.
Rows of serrated teeth reveal the mako's lethal design.
The crew tags and documents the massive mako with precise regulation.
Its exceptional length is recorded across the steel deck.
The shark is lowered into deep industrial ice bins for preservation. The crew resets every rod station for the next hunt in the Atlantic.
Another giant mako rises from the shadows of the deep blue.
Cranes unload iced bins of giant mako from the massive steel vessel.
Each giant mako portion is inspected and labeled under strict standards.
Chilled mako cuts are moved into deep industrial freezers.
The tight grain of giant mako meat shows its cold water strength.
Giant mako crates are stacked as buyers gather at dawn. Experts inspect each cut before competitive bidding begins. Insulated containers of giant mako are lifted onto outbound trucks. Refrigerated trucks move the premium mako toward distribution hubs.
Pallets of giant mako are secured for long-distance export flights.
Pallets of mako meat lock into the aircraft home for global delivery.
Chefs receive pristine giant mako loin for high-end preparation.
Expert blades slice the mako into clean, even fillets.
The chef prepares the mako steaks with a bright citra finish.
The dish is plated with precision and a bright citrus note.
The restaurant's signature giant mako dish reaches the table.
The massive vessel rests after another brutal day in the Atlantic.
The crew washes the steel deck clean after the intense battle.
Coordinates are marked for the next day's hunt.
The steel bow cuts silently through moonlit waters.
The engines cool after hours of relentless power output.
The vessel towers through the quiet blue-hour haze. Gear is sharpened and reset for tomorrow's search. Massive shark leaders are coiled neatly for storage.
The crew records every detail of today's encounters.
The last iced bins roll out under the crane's swing. Deck lights dim as the exhausted crew turns in. A few scattered scales shimmer faintly on the steel deck.
Beneath the stars, the steel giant waits for the next hunt.